Hi, this is Grammy from Grammy and Grandpa Read, and today I have a book for you called The Mysterious Tadpole. And this one is by Stephen Kellogg, and this one is dedicated to my daughter Sarah, who reminded me of this story. And I'll talk to you about it at the end because I don't want to spoil it. Okay, so The Mysterious Tadpole. It's got good pictures. Uncle McAllister lived in Scotland. Every year he sent Lewis a birthday gift for his nature collection. "This is the best one yet," cried Lewis. The next day he took his entire collection to school for show and tell. "Class, this is a tadpole," said Mrs. Shelbert. She asked Lewis to bring it back often so they could all watch it become a frog. See, it's in the little jar. Lewis named the tadpole Alphonse. Every day, Alphonse ate several cheeseburgers. Lewis found that he was eager to learn. When Alphonse became too big for his jar, Lewis moved him into the sink. See how he's getting too big? He moved him into the sink. After Alphonse outgrew the sink, Lewis's parents agreed to let him use the bathtub. One day, Mrs. Shelbert decided that Alphonse was not turning into an ordinary frog. She asked Lewis to stop bringing him to school. Look how big he is. By the time summer vacation arrived, Alphonse was enormous, too big for the bathtub, and Lewis's mother, "and he's too big for the apartment," said Lewis's father. "He needs a swimming pool," said Lewis. "There's no place in our apartment for a swimming pool," said his parents. Lewis suggested that they buy the parking lot next door and build a swimming pool. "It would cost more money than we have," said his parents. "Your tadpole will have to be donated to the zoo." He thought of Alphonse in a cage. Thought of Alphonse in a cage made Lewis very sad. Then, in the middle of the night, Lewis remembered that the junior high had a swimming pool that nobody used during the summer. Lewis hid Alphonse under a rug and smuggled him into the school. After making sure that Alphonse felt at home, Lewis went back to bed. Every morning, Lewis spent several hours swimming with his friend. In the afternoon, he earned money for Alphonse's cheeseburgers by delivering newspapers. Meanwhile, the training continued. Alphonse learned to retrieve things from the bottom of the pool. Summer vacation passed quickly. Lewis worried what would happen to Alphonse now that the school had reopened. As soon as the first day ended, he ran to the junior high. The students were getting ready for after-school activities. And it says, "Swimming team, report to the pool immediately. Coach cramps." Lewis arrived just as the first swimming race began. Alphonse was delighted to see all the swimmers. "It's a submarine from another planet," bellowed the coach. "Call the police, call the Navy." "No, it's a tadpole," cried Lewis. "He's my pet." The coach was upset and confused. "You will have until tomorrow," he cried, "to get that creature out of the pool." Lewis didn't know what to do. On the way home, he met his friend Miss Severs, the librarian. He told her his problem. Miss Severs went back to the junior high school with Lewis, but when she saw Alphonse, she was so shocked that she dropped her purse and the books she was carrying into the swimming pool. Alphonse retrieved them. Then Miss Severs telephoned Lewis's uncle, McAllister, in Scotland. He told her that he had caught the little tadpole in the Loch Ness, a large lake near his cottage. Miss Severs said, "I'm convinced that your uncle has given you the very rare Loch Ness monster." "I don't care," cried Lewis. He's my pet and I love him. He begged Miss Severs to help him raise enough money to buy the parking lot near his apartment so he could build a swimming pool for Alphonse. Suddenly, Miss Severs had an idea. In 1639, there was a battle in our city's harbor, she said. A pirate treasure ship was sunk and no one has been able to find it, but perhaps we can. See the ship? They're reading about it. The next morning, Miss Severs and Louis rented a boat. In the middle of the harbor, Louis showed Alphonse a picture of the treasure chest. Alphonse disappeared under the water. See him? He went down, and there's the ship. He brought up the chest. Louis and Miss Severs bought the parking lot. They hired some helpers. See, there's the Alphonse. And when the pool was complete, all the children in the city were invited to swim. That night, Louis said, Alphonse, next week is my birthday, which means that we have been friends for almost a year. Far away in Scotland, Uncle McAllister was also thinking about the approaching birthday. While out hiking, he discovered an unusual stone in a clump of grass and sticks. A perfect gift for his nephew, he cried. I'll deliver it in person. Uncle McAllister arrived at Louis's apartment and gave Louis the present. Louis couldn't wait to add it to his collection. Suddenly, a crack appeared in the stone. It's a dinosaur. The mom and dad are terrified and the uncle's excited. And so is Alphonse. That's cute. Alphonse was the Loch Ness Monster. Isn't that funny? He wasn't really a tadpole. And was going to grow into a frog. He was the Loch Ness Monster. That's a good story, huh? I hope you like it. Please subscribe to our channel and like the video.